Hey everybody, it's Lavender Town, and today I'm going to be challenging myself to try to draw something as if I was 100% colorblind. So I'm not going to be able to see the colors as they develop on my picture, and then at the end I'm going to reveal the actual colors that I used and see how well I did without the use of my color eyes, my cones. Yeah, let's see how I do. But first, a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, Elsword. Elsword is an anime-style MMORPG that is free to play on the PC. It has 12 playable characters, and it has player versus environment and PvP. Each character you select has different paths you can take their skills and abilities, so if you start out with Aisha the Magician, you can either turn her into a dark sorceress using dark magic, or she could be a super cute magical girl. I gotta say, the character art for this game is really cute, and it's one of the things that first attracted me to this game when I was first introduced to it. So, if you want to try it out, like I said, it's free to play. There'll be a link in the description box, and another big thank you to Elsword for supporting this channel. Alright, so in order to start this challenge, I need something to color in. So really quickly, I'm going to sketch out something that I think could have an interesting color scheme. I wanted to do some weird, like, reversal kind of stuff where there's a girl with an umbrella, and the part of her that's covered with the umbrella will turn sort of spooky and dark, while everything outside of it will be cute. You know I love that creepy cute dichotomy. Already I'm feeling a little thrown off because I really prefer to sketch in like a light blue or a light pink, and I actually am sketching in a light blue, but because I've put this filter over the whole file, it's going to appear as gray to me. Now, I can't actually totally simulate what it's like to be colorblind because I'm still having access to my color palette and being able to see what color I'm about to put down. It's just that once it touches the canvas, it turns to some shade of gray. So it's not exactly 100% like I'm colorblind, but it's still extremely disorienting, I've got to say. I'll speed through this inking part because really it's no different than it always is. I usually ink in black even if I'm going to color the lines later. Usually the way I color the lines is I put a clipping mask over the top of the lines after I've drawn them in black, so this was completely unaffected by this whole challenge. I am making sure to add in background and lots of little details so that the coloring is a little bit harder than usual. I'm pretty concerned at this point that I'm going to have areas that get colored in like a little bit wrong, like maybe they'll fill in farther than I want them to and I won't be able to see it necessarily because it'll just be a lot more gray, but that is sort of the nature of the challenge. I wanted to make it a little bit tougher on myself. So now that it's coloring time, things get really dicey. I'm able to select whatever color I want in the color wheel, but as soon as I put it down on the canvas, it just turns to gray, so I'm having to really hope that my instincts are right here. And luckily, because I'm still seeing the grays, I can still see some tonal information, so I can see if it's kind of as light or as dark as I'd want. But you'd be surprised how certain colors look the same in grayscale that look really, really different, obviously, when you can see the color in them. Like, yellows typically are perceived as lighter than they actually are tonally, and blues are seen as a little bit darker. So it can really throw you when you actually are just seeing the tones because they are perceived so differently when there's color. I'm trying to do a really bold thing with the background of the sky in the umbrella. I'm trying to make it like a blood red, and I get a little concerned that that's going to start clashing with other things because in general I don't usually know how much to saturate things until I put them down next to the other colors. That whole ability has been taken away from me in this challenge, so it's something that I'm trying to deal with. I'm also using the bucket tool like I usually do, but it's really scary to use here because I can't always tell exactly where it's going. I'm trying to keep track of the lighter tones, but it is a little bit tricksy. For the colors outside of the umbrella, I want it to be sort of a charming, classical kind of like navy and gold scheme with a regular blue sky and a nice lush background with lots of foliage and buildings. And that's kind of what I'm going for here. But I really can't tell how it's turning out because again, the umbrella and outside the umbrella are not actually looking that different because I don't have these big color differences that I'm trying to use. I wanted the inside of the umbrella to be really harsh and uninviting, and then everything outside of it to look sort of traditional and cute and like warm. Hey guys, so I'm here on camera right now because I just wanted to film my actual reaction to seeing it in color for the first time. So here we go. Oh wow. Okay, so there are a few problems I can see here. Wow, I'm actually really surprised that it looks like shockingly similar to how I used to color back when I didn't know how to color. Like, this looks a lot like some of my earliest DeviantArt digital drawings. The dress is way too saturated. That yellow was a huge mistake. I thought it was more of like a gold, but I didn't like temper it down with enough darker colors to make it look anything other than like primary yellow. The umbrella sky part is definitely too dark, and too like, yeah, just intense. That yellow and that red together are really bad. They're like clashing really horribly. Also, the sky is incredibly washed out. I thought that the clouds and the blue sky were more different in color, but I can see now that they're like super similar. And overall, I just think, wow, this really looks too flat. I'm surprised that this like affected my, like, I thought that it was more like shaded than it was. This is actually looks quite unfinished in general. Wow, I think I failed this challenge pretty bad, guys. But yeah, if you guys want to try it out, it's not super difficult if you have Photoshop. Basically, all you have to do is you have to get a layer, an adjustment layer, and then click hue and saturation, and then turn the saturation all the way down. So what that'll do is it will make your drawing appear as if the saturation's been turned all the way down, which means that there will be no color, and then you can turn that off at the end and see how you do without being able to see the colors develop. I didn't realize how much I needed to see the colors like next to each other in order to figure out what color is best, but apparently that's like a majority of how I decide what color to use, because I absolutely did not know what I was doing. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you try out the challenge, and another big shout out to Elsword for supporting this video. If you want to check out the game, there will be a link down in the description box. Thank you guys so much for staying till the end, and I will see you next week. Thank you to all of my patrons, including Scott Peterson, Christy Stewart, Paynamel, The Artsy Moose, Elizabeth Albin, Kampom Hon, Trashomaniac, Micadactyl, Okamore, Matthew Kunke, Blep, Sergeant Pendulum, Shiori, Lena Christine, DeSweet 12, Giwas, Taka, Lovely, Lachlan MD, Mystic, Enzo Gilbert, Yo Boy ST, JJ Jade, blah 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 blah, and Addy Visual.